Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the RocketMSP Podcast. I'm Steve Taylor. I'm your host, and today I'm joined by Ned Chanou from Boundless Digital. And Ned is French, but we're going to give him a pass on that.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Absolutely, man. So, where are you in France?
Yes, I'm based in Paris.
Okay, wow, Paris. So you get to look at like the coolest spot that's the only city I've ever heard of in France, because I'm just one of those dumb Americans who is uncultured, you know. That's what I assume everyone over there assumes of us. And I feel bad because I didn't take French. I took Spanish in high school, and I moved to a different high school after a quarter of Spanish. And so like the high school I was in the middle of, like, you know, Farmville, where they did tractor pulls and all kinds of weird stuff. And
Right.
and so I knew how to count up to 20 in Spanish. And then the school I moved to could already count up to 1,000,000, because they were like a suburb of Cleveland, a bigger city. So the only thing I really took away from Spanish class after 2 years, I know how to say, "Hola, me llamo Steve. Tú es muy guapo en la biblioteca. Bienvenido a los Estados Unidos. Tú habla inglés."
Actually, on my end, I didn't take any Spanish lessons, but I actually know how to order beer, so I think I can survive.
Yeah, that's excellent. Cerveza. So,
Exactly.
do you know what I said?
I think you mentioned something about the library, and
Yes.
you actually asked if they can speak English. That's
No, I didn't mean to ask if they can speak English. So I said, "Hi, my name is Steve. You are very handsome in the library. Welcome to the United States of America. You speak English." That's
right.
That was what this was.
Hey, what about
I said
French?
it wrong, I'm sure.
Do you know any French? And don't tell me voulez-vous coucher avec moi, because obviously it's not gonna.
No, I don't
happen.
actually know how to say that one. All I know how to say is "oui oui," because I just because I'm a giant child, and I just like to say "oui oui" a lot. But
that's a good one.
I think at one time I knew how to say 69 in French, but that's really all I got.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
All right, so it is after 1 now. So I think we've had too much fun, so we got to get serious now, Ned. So let's talk about you and your company. So Ned, you've got this company, Boundless Digital, and Boundless Digital is a like Meraki management platform.
Correct.
Now,
we actually I can say we are more than that. We are what we call a Cisco tech partner. So meaning that we are specialized in providing added value based on Cisco technology. So we have a deep focus on Meraki, but we are overall a Cisco tech partner. This is how I would describe that. Oui.
Yeah, oui. I think you and I are spelling oui a little differently too. All right, so with this platform, I got to give you a hard time. Like, what are you talking about, man? It's Meraki management. Like, I don't know if you know this, but there's already a central platform for me to manage Meraki. What do I need you for?
Really? No, yeah. Like I said, so we are a Cisco tech partner. So what we do is we use their APIs to provide value. And if I can say that, the Meraki philosophy is to say we're gonna provide maybe 80% of what our customers are needing within our platform, but for the remaining 20%, they can use the APIs so that they can have so much more granular control or more advanced features, and that's really the whole strategy of Meraki right now. And that's also the reason why Cisco in general is investing a lot in tech partners, because they are definitely providing value, and they are providing complementarity in terms of expertise and solutions. So you're not giving me a hard time when you said that there's a platform and it's an existing dashboard and it's working really well. But what we want to do is address the 20% of end customers and obviously MSPs who are willing to go a little bit beyond this dashboard, and who want just to make their life easier, and they don't necessarily have the time, the resources, or just the energy to do that on their own. So they can call us and we can help out.
Okay. So with that said, I want to ask you some very serious questions. Where to begin, Ned? Let's talk about why you made the company. So why?
Okay, that's a very serious question, so I'll try to be serious as well. Maybe I should mention my background, because I actually spent some time working for Cisco. I was part of the CSAP program, so it's a graduate program from Cisco. So it's basically taking people and making sure that they have a good ramp up, and then they progress within the organization. So it was great. I had a lot of fun, and then I joined the Cisco Meraki business unit when it was acquired by Cisco, to develop the business from scratch. And I really enjoyed working for them. But at some point, I realized that excuse me, I wanted to kind of like be my own boss, because I was I felt like I wanted to be autonomous, and I wanted to be free in every decision I could make. And I also saw there was a lot of opportunities for tech partners, because at that time we were starting to talk about APIs. We were starting to talk about how we could sell IT differently, and I was already working with MSPs, and I could see that there was a gap between their expertise and what the market was actually demanding in terms of solutions. So the funny thing is that I started the project on a very different subject, because we first started to work on what we call location analytics. So the idea was to collect, I don't know if you're familiar with that, Steve?
Am I familiar? Say it again.
Location analytics or Wi-Fi analytics.
I mean,
basically
is that the one where you're able to see like where in the room they are, kind of stuff, or like
exactly,
because I know, like, for example, when I walk around Walmart, it can tell me, like, it can give me GPS directions as I walk around the store. But then I know some companies, maybe they don't need that precise of location data. Maybe they're just interested in knowing like what rooms are most trafficked or that type of stuff.
Exactly. So that's the whole point of Wi-Fi analytics, is to be able to collect Wi-Fi probes from smartphones. So you can tell how many people are passing by your store, how many people are going into your store, how long they stay, if they've been there already. I can see that Thomas is asking some questions. Hi, Thomas.
I'll go ahead and moderate those questions for you. So, I mean, you're welcome to review them, but I'll take care of them for you. Right.
So long story short, so that's the first focus we had was on location analytics, and our approach was to say we need to sell IT differently. So we need to provide some added value to a wireless deployment. So being able to say with a Wi-Fi deployment and Wi-Fi access points, you're going to be able to get a better understanding of what is actually happening into the store. That's actually a great way to promote Wi-Fi deployments. And we use Meraki APIs to collect those probes, and we came up with our own solutions and our own algorithm to do those calculations and computing, so that we could took those raw data and translate those data into analytics. So that was the first part of the project.
This sounds really cool. So we're going to come back to location analytics.
Right. So, but we realized that there were other problems we could address, and obviously the technology was not accurate enough. So we decided to kind of like move on to other solutions, and we came up with captive follow solutions. So the idea was to provide, again, using Meraki APIs, advanced features on the guest Wi-Fi accesses. So the idea was to say Meraki is providing, and basically all the Wi-Fi vendors are providing native solutions that are pretty basic. But as soon as you need more authentication methods, you need marketing tools, you kind of like limit it, and you need to use a dedicated solution for that. So that's what we built. But again, we realized that there was probably some other challenges and pain points we could address. And by that time, I was probably 2 years ago, we were already working with MSPs and pretty closely, because we came up with an indirect business model. So we had the chance to work with MSPs, and they were reselling our guest Wi-Fi solutions. And we realized that they were pretty busy and pretty worried about other challenges, that rather than selling other type of solutions to their customers, because they were struggling to differentiate themselves from the competition, obviously struggling to be profitable. And what we did is we sat down with MSPs and even Meraki end users to understand what were the challenges they were facing. And this is where we found out that a lot of network management tasks were still executed or done manually, and the usage of the APIs and the usage of our platform could provide some value. And this is how we came into the network automation market, I would say. And this is how we developed this approach for MSPs. So when you say in intro that we have a Cisco Meraki management tool, I would say it's broader than that. I would say we have an MSP platform that MSPs can use to kind of like cover the entire life cycle of a project. So from the deployment part to the production phase, up to the advanced one where you provide intelligence with captive follow and marketing tools. So we really want to cover from A to Z these different steps.
So let's talk about the location analytics stuff a little deeper, because this really fascinates me. The type of stuff that companies are able to do. Like I said earlier, I can be walking around Walmart, and I remember it was actually Target the first time I did it. I opened up the Target app because I just wanted to know what aisle something was in, and then I saw it. I swear it said like get directions, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So I clicked it, and it legit it was like, well, I see you're in the coffee aisle, and you need to be in the canned food aisle. So go to the end of this aisle and make a right. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, the fact that it knows precisely what aisle I'm in, because you got to think there's just in one span in the grocery store, there's like 20, 30 aisles, and then they stagger things weird and whatever else to make it so if you need to get three things and they're not all in the same aisle, they almost make it so you have to go all around the store to get some of this stuff,
Right.
But the fact that they're able to give me GPS directions while walking around the store, like, that's weird. So,
It's
and then
scary, yeah.
and then you mentioned something I didn't even think of. Okay, so there's all the people in the store, but what about all the people that walked by that didn't even come in? Like that just so like I feel like that's a different sector though. Like I guess nobody's ever asked me about that type of stuff. So I would have never thought to talk to a business about installing installing that type of stuff into a business, and I see one guy, America's Finest.
Skynet.
It's calling
Yeah.
it. He's calling it Skynet, and it creeps him out. He also says that we don't like that around here. I don't know where he's from. America's Finest, maybe. Let's call it the Deep South. We don't like that kind of stuff down here. So I don't know.
No, but he's right. It can be creepy in a sense that you're like you can feel like there's like Big Brother on top who's like watching you. It's actually the whole point is to give to provide more services and to make sure that you get the best customer experience. And the great thing is that you have different kind of technologies, but overall. These technologies are when you can make sure that you can be anonymous. And actually, the reason why we kind of like stop focusing on those technologies is there's obviously a lot of problems regarding the accuracy, but also because you cannot like rely on the OS and especially iOS and Android. And to give you an example, and it's gonna go with America's Finance comment, we actually are not able to track accurately because of the MAC randomization. So meaning that you have a MAC address on your phone, and every access point is able to track and collect those MAC addresses. But the fact that with iOS and Android, it gets randomized every 60 seconds, make it impossible to actually track someone accurately. So it's great for privacy, but it sucks for like the analytics, because obviously I'm not going to be able to track you accurately.
Well, I gotta say,
so you have like other technologies like beacons, where you need to have an app installed and it's going to use Bluetooth, or you can use cameras. And actually, Meraki has launched a few years ago a camera product, and it's actually pretty accurate and pretty awesome when it comes to analyze customers' past or customers' behavior, because it's much more accurate, the analyzing images rather than Wi-Fi signals.
That blows my mind, man. Seriously. Like I didn't even know, like I just thought those were up there to make sure I wasn't stealing a Snickers bar. Like so are you telling me that like a lot of the cameras that are in the ceilings in some of these stores are multi-purpose? Like, yes, they're for security, but they're also there so that way they can like watch what we're doing and try and analyze why we're doing it. So that way,
exactly. Okay. How do you think Amazon store technology was able to track people? It's because they are using cameras. So as soon as you enter the store, they have cameras everywhere, so they know which item you're picking into the shelf and which item you're putting in your basket. And if you don't put it in the basket, they're going to see it, and they're going to be able to say, we're not going to charge you because it's not in a basket. And I think Meraki's cameras have been deployed in Walmart. It's probably like one of the biggest deployments so far. So yeah, that's definitely for security reason, but obviously for analytics reason.
Oh, that's so fascinating. All right, so let's talk about the downside to location analytics. So I'm the guy that I kind of, how do I want to phrase this? Do as I say, not as I do. So, I advocate for people to understand what information they're giving away. And as long as they understand and they continue to do it, then that's fine. Like, I understand what I'm giving away by being on Facebook, so at what point do I say, here's the line? You know what I mean? So, like, for me, for example, like, I get it. Facebook is no longer a social network. It is a data aggregator at this point. They're same with Amazon. They are not a book company or an online purchasing platform. They are a data company. Facebook and Amazon are two wonderful examples of big data. And so you kind of need to figure out, like, where do you draw the line? So I guess where I've drawn the line is I don't have any Amazon Echo devices in my home. I used to, and then I just decided I don't like it. I have the HomePods. I just feel like they're a little more secure. I know that, none of them are truly keeping everything that I do 100% private, but I at least like Apple's approach to privacy more than some of these other companies. And if everyone I knew was on an iPhone and didn't use Androids, I probably wouldn't be on Facebook, because I'd say 70% of what I do on Facebook is simply having conversations in Messenger, which they use that information too. It's ridiculous. Sure. So at what point is enough? At what point do these stores have more data than necessary, more data than they even know what to do with it, to try and perform analytics about, well, he got this jar of stuff. He liked the look of that other one, I can tell, because his eyes kept looking at it, but he didn't get it. And I bet it's because it was on the top shelf instead of the second shelf down. This one was on the, like, at what point, because all that's doing is helping the grocery stores get more money. It's not helping me, the consumer.
Well, I guess I would say it's funny because I had this. I mean, the border between good and evil is pretty blurry and pretty thin. I always say that if you use this kind of technologies to provide a better experience, and if you use the data to provide a more personalized experience, that's fine for me, as long as it's not intrusive. I mean, we're all being tracked now. I mean, and it's normal. Like we say when it's free, that means you're the product. So when you use Facebook, when you use Gmail, it is free. So obviously these guys are not ONG, so they need to make money somehow. And there are like alternatives that you can use not to be tracked, but obviously. So you mentioned Alexa, the Echo Dot. I'm actually have.
You shouldn't say it. Like she's always listening.
She's actually right here. So she's
so she'll get angry if you start talking to her. She knows about it.
But I actually love using those devices because I can put some songs for my son, and he can ask questions around the. One of my older son is actually a big fan of space, and he's learning all the planets, and he can ask questions to Alexa. So it's I mean, the service that and the thing that I get from Alexa is and from Amazon on this is okay for me, and I'm fine with them listening to what I have to say, because I know that what I get in return is worth it. But for some people, obviously, it's not okay. and there's like alternatives that you can and you can say stop to that for sure.
So you said that the line between good and evil is a really thin line, but it's blurred. I believe that the line between Google, can you see where I went there? The line between good and Google, no, between good and evil is very wide. Okay, I think it's a very wide line, and I think it's gray. I don't feel like, I think some things might be black and white, but honestly, man, like, I think so many things anymore are just a gray area. Like if you think about it, like, okay, let's take a ridiculous extreme. Somebody murdered somebody else, but they murdered that person because they're a sexual predator and they did something to their own kid or something. Like, gray area, right? I don't feel like that was entirely good or entirely evil. I feel like, so sure. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to compare what companies are doing with Wi-Fi and cameras and all that to murder or to sexual predators, because I think these are two completely different things. But I think that it's a very gray area. Like, okay, it can be used for really great things. It can make my experience walking around a store better. It can make my experience shopping online easier. So yes, it can do some really great things, but it can also do some really terrible things, because they're going to start giving that data to other companies. And maybe they're not going to give it to them. Maybe they're going to sell it to them. So that I think is where I get frustrated. I don't care that Facebook has, 15 years of pictures and my whole life on there. I care that they sell that information to other people. I don't even know if I care that they allow companies like yours and mine to create ads and show those ads to whomever. But I don't know that Facebook, that's all they do with the data. I think that they're doing more with that data than any of us realize. That's where I get frustrated.
That's true. As soon as your data leaves the website and goes, or the platform, and goes to another tier, that's where it gets like messy and dirty, I would say, for sure.
So location analytics, that's some really cool stuff. So you're saying your platform, Boundless Digital, is going to help MSPs set this type of stuff up?
So that was the primary goal, but we decided to have a different focus recently, because we realized that before kind of like addressing these kind of subjects, it was essential to go back to the basics. And like I said earlier, the challenges that we see, especially around network management, is the fact that things are still done manually. And the problem is you get more and more tools and technologies around APIs through APIs to just streamline and simplify all these processes. But there's still a gap in terms of expertise among those MSPs. So our ambition is to make sure that we can provide those capabilities so that they don't have to invest in any resources or time or energy, but they can have access to those capabilities within our platform. And we want to make it relevant so that it answers their day-to-day challenges, which is, I have a new deployment to make. This customer has multiple sites and multiple devices. And instead of doing every single task manually, I'll be able to use the Boundless platform to automate the process, so that I will have to do this one time, and I will save hours, and obviously I can be obviously more profitable or more competitive, depending on how you wanna put that in terms of pricing strategy.
Got
But yeah,
it.
location I think is a great thing, but there's more in our view. There's more important things to cover before taking care of this, and it feels like there's a lot of companies on the market for this, but there's very few who took the time to look at those challenges that the MSPs are facing, and we want to make the MSP world a better place, basically.
I appreciate that. So let's talk captive portals. So
Mm-hmm.
captive portals, I know with just about every AP, I can say, do you agree to not look up child pornography while you're here at Panera? They check the box, they agree, and now they're on the internet or whatever, right? So what would you think needs to be on a captive portal? Like an email address and maybe some more information?
It's actually, you mentioned Panera because it's actually a big Meraki deployment. For me, the captive portal is definitely a way to secure the access to the network. Is to provide the best user experience possible. Usually, when you try to connect on a free Wi-Fi or a public Wi-Fi, it doesn't work because there's either too many steps or it just doesn't work. So in our case, we wanted to make sure that we provide the easiest solution to integrate to your infrastructure, and provide some of the most relevant tools. For us, the captive portal, I would say in a nutshell, is a way to communicate with the customers that are going on site. It's a way to collect data that can be reused, obviously for marketing purposes. And that's what we can provide with our solutions.
Okay. So today you offer captive portals,
Mm-hmm.
but today you do not offer location analytics.
We actually have stopped any development on the analytics part. So our focus right now is, if I can summarize this, is the network management part, so deployment and management, day-to-day management. The monitoring part, where we have come up with our own syslog solution, so to collect logs and analyze those logs and be able to troubleshoot on that. And I will say the advanced part with the captive portal, which is, once I have deployed everything, what services I can provide on top of that, and whether it's an office or it's a hotel, it's a store, it's a city center, you will need those kind of solutions to provide the best user experience to your guests.
All right. So let's talk about Boundless Digital proper. So this company was started by you, Ned. Any other founders?
Yes. So there is another founder called Sidney Burks. He's actually American, so he's the clever one. And I can say, like, we are pretty complementary, because he is obviously the CTO of the company, so he's the one who do all the thinking, and he actually went to MIT, and then he came to France to do his PhD. He met a lovely French lady, and now he's settled in France for good, hopefully. And I met him on the location analytic part, and we've decided to team up together to build Boundless. And yeah, I mean, we're really complementary in a way that I provide and handle everything that is not technical, I would say, and he's handling the obviously the most difficult part, which is the technical part and the product. And he's a great guy. I hope he's listening. Love you, Sydney.
All right. So, do you have any other investors in the company, or just the two of you?
So actually, we are bootstrapped from the since the beginning.
Okay.
We have tried to do things cleverly in a way that we didn't want to bring in investors on the very beginning, because obviously we wanted to be autonomous, and we had the chance to I would say generate revenue thanks to the captive follow part. So we use this revenue to and obviously there's a lot of things you can get in France for innovative startups. So that's actually a good thing to be French sometimes. So we get innovation loans and subsidies to develop the project. So now we are at a point where we obviously have traction in Europe, but also in the US, and there's a big questions regarding should we raise money or not, because obviously it's a great way to accelerate your development. Obviously, we need a lot of resources and investment to on our platform, but it's also kind of like nice to be your own boss and being able to set up your own strategy and just do things at your own pace, and you don't have someone who can like force you to accelerate and grow and making back decisions on that.
Do you have any employees or contractors helping you with anything?
Yeah, so we have a team of developers, obviously. So that's probably the main focus. And I also have two other person, one from Spain actually. So when you start talking about your Spanish lessons, and you mentioned that you might offend some people, I was afraid that she would get offended, but you were okay when you mentioned your memories of your Spanish lessons. So her name is Carlota, and she's running marketing, and I have a salesperson covering the US. His name is Ali, and he's a great guy.
That's great, man. And these are all employees. They're not like
Yes.
subcontractors or anything.
No. We actually have contractors on the dev side from time to time, but obviously we that's also part of
That's common.
our approach to make sure we could reduce our development costs as much as possible, and we found some really great resources on some dev platform. But overall, we want to internalize this as much as possible to keep the intelligence in house, basically.
Where are your developers located?
A little bit everywhere, I would say. We have one in Turkey, whose name is Oz, and we have other people in Croatia, in Portugal, and also one in Mexico.
Okay.
So a little bit everywhere.
So doing a little bit of nearshoring and offshoring.
Exactly. Yeah, we have this. I mean, since we have a pretty international traction right now, it's pretty global. We try to have like this follow the sun approach, where we have my day is dedicated for Europe in the morning and early afternoon, and then dedicated my time for the US and Americas, and at night is more around APJC. So it's pretty round the clock work days for us.
So let's talk about your unique value proposition. That's a really nerdy way of saying, why should MSPs work with you and not XYZ platform?
Right. That's a good question. I'll try to be as honest as possible on that. I feel like we are I would say pretty unique in our approach. The fact that we didn't bring investors from the beginning kind of like forced us to be really clever in our methodology and our way of thinking. So we have developed this very agile approach, and that's one of the thing that MSPs usually notice is the fact that we are really close to the partners we're working with, and I would say um, uh, we tend to be really proactive and a pretty I would say responsive when it comes to analyzing the MSP's need. You're back and the door closed, got closed. It's magical.
Crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, amazing. So that's I got confused a little bit, but basically that this agile approach makes us really available for our partners, and we want to make sure that our solutions are as relevant as possible. So that's one thing. Also, the fact that we are specialized on Cisco and on Meraki makes us also unique, because we have a deep understanding and a deep expertise on Meraki, and we know where the gaps are. We know where the challenges are, and to give you an example, we recently released an RBAC, so role-based access control solution dedicated for Meraki. So the great thing is that we know exactly what are the problems and the limitations on the Meraki administration system. So we know that when you create a new admin on the Meraki platform, it is either you have either the choice of making him or her having a full access or a read-only one. So we came up with our own system where you can make it much more granular. So you can choose within the Meraki menus which access or which features you wanna give access to, and we have created a web extension so that when you connect on your Meraki dashboard, you will see a limited view with only the menus you will have access to. So that's something really specific to Meraki. But the great thing also is that we can replicate what we're doing with Meraki with other vendors or other type of solutions. So like APIs, for example, there's a big thing around API libraries right now. So vendors are making those API accessible, but there's a security issue around that, because obviously through an API key you can have access to all the capabilities, and obviously they haven't thought about developing a role-based access control on that, and our tool could be used for that in the near future. So that's also a unique, I would say, advantage of our approach, is to say we are focused on Meraki, so we provide the best of best-in-breed solutions for Meraki, but we can also replicate this approach on other vendors at some point, and that makes us really different from some of the big guys that are on the market right now. And also, I will add that I'm the only French in the team. That's also a good thing. So one is enough.
One's more than enough, I'm told. All right. So with a platform like yours, it's likely that people are going to need support from time to time. So what happens if an MSP needs to get some tech support using Boundless?
Mm-hmm. So we came up with, I would say, a pretty large support strategy. So we have obviously an office here in Paris, but we also have support in the US through a phone line. We have a chat, and our awesome marketing team has worked pretty hard to provide all the documentations, all the tutorials that you will need as an MSP to get your hands on the platform. And I would say that thanks to the cloud, like everything is connected. So while we were talking, I saw some notifications on Slack of someone asking some questions on our platform. So it's directly linked to obviously myself and the support team. So we have thanks to the progress of technologies and the awesome support tools that exist, we have a pretty full coverage of our MSPs. Obviously, we are relatively small for the moment, but we put all our hearts and energy to make sure that we get only happy and satisfied MSPs.
Now, something else that could almost be considered one of those gray areas. I mean, you've developed a platform that, as of right now, it works exclusively with Meraki products. So, at what point do you say to one of your clients, "Hey, the issue you're having is not with our platform; it's with your Meraki something or another, and you really should be talking to them"?
It actually happened. It happened in the past. Obviously, we are relying on Meraki and Meraki APIs. I suppose that we have a pretty tight relationship with Meraki, and I feel like in our DNA, we for us business is a matter of persons. So as soon as you get involved with a partner or an MSP, you are reliable, and your responsibility is to make sure that everything is working correctly. So it's not in our I would say DNA to wash our hands and say it's not our problem. It's on Meraki, even if it is. We'll make sure that we'll come up with a common solution, and every time we work on a new project, we make sure that we have the right people, and we set up the terms in advance, so that it's crystal clear that in case anything happen, everything is written down so that there's no surprises on that.
And how quickly do you get back to people when they reach out to you for support?
So we have this SLA's policy where we kind of like commit on a what is it? I think it's like so we have business hours support, and we try to commit on the next business day answer. But to be honest, as soon as we get a ticket open, we try to work on it as soon as possible. So usually we get back within a few hours, basically. But that's because we don't really have a lot of problems, to be honest. And our platform is pretty reliable on that. So the guys work pretty well on that. And we made sure that we designed an architecture that is scalable, so that we can support the growth, and we have something really stable and with a pretty distributed architecture. So everything is optimized as much as possible. So we don't really have so many issues regarding the stability of the downtime, for example.
All right. So now let's get a little technical. With this type of product, you've got access to some pretty important things. Do you store any credentials for the Meraki platform?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We actually provide a user management capability, which allow us through the APIs to have a complete visibility of all the user base. but we don't store any data on that end. We just I would say help managing the access and the users directly from our platform. And the only we say information that we store is the Meraki API key, but it's obviously encrypted and hashed pretty heavily, so we don't have access to this information, and it's obviously pretty well secure on that.
Very good. Now, what about your platform? Are you hosting everything in AWS or Azure?
Yes, AWS, yeah.
So even if where you're hosting it at AWS had an issue, you've got like redundancy and disaster recovery and all that type of stuff in place?
Yeah, we are on a serverless architecture, and we have obviously thought about having hubs in different regions. So yes, if anything happen, we definitely have something in place to make sure that there's no downtime and there's no security issue on that.
Awesome. What about compliance? Do you guys even, I don't know, like, do you even need to worry about compliance? Because you're not really, one, for the people in America, you're not touching like health records. So I don't think you need to worry about HIPAA. You're not really storing user info, so you probably don't have to do anything with GDPR directly. Though if somebody sets up your captive portal, they would need to worry about it with wherever that information's going.
No, actually, we are entitled to the GDPR compliance because we are what we call a data processor. So within our captive portal, we collect information. So obviously, these informations are our customers' property, but we are storing those data for our customers. Okay. So it implies to be compliant with some of the laws, meaning that we need to make sure that on our splash page configurator, we need to provide what we call a double opt-in. So the user needs to be able to agree on the terms and condition, but also
and then they have to click a button on an email.
Yeah, give the consent whether he or she wants to is okay to for his data to be reused for marketing purposes. We also need to give the what we call the portability. So meaning if one of our customers wants to export all of the data from our platform to another, we need to be able to give access to that. If a user wants to know which data we have on him or she or her, we need to be able to give access to that. And we actually have customers asking whether we can help them on the compliance, so PCI compliance. It's something that we can deal with because we have a standardization solution which provides audit tools, so you can within few clicks audit security roles, security settings, or even configuration roles, or even like names and tags. And for the, so that's if you have some I would say some constraints regarding the compliance, and especially PCI DSS with for retailers, that's something we can provide through our platform.
Okay, so you actually have a lot going on when it comes to compliance.
Yeah, right. I mean, the security in general is a really big topic, and it's definitely something we need to address, and we need to make sure that we provide the right level of capabilities. So yeah, that's definitely something we are focusing on.
So now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic right now: security. Do you offer two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication?
Yes, sir. We even provide SSO authentication.
Okay.
so that you can use Okta, you can use XAML to connect on our platform.
Okay. And that we don't have to buy like the higher end license, because I know with like literally everything else, if you want the SSO SAML type login, you got to get the enterprise license, not the standard license or the pro license. Like that's kind of stuff that really, what really grinds my gears. It's that kind of stuff. Everyone nickel and
I hear you on
diming
that.
to be more secure. So that's really
No,
cool.
and maybe that's also why we don't have investors. It's because we can do our own pricing structure, and our pricing was built on the fact that we on the principle that instead of hiring someone for a specific task, you can use our platform, and it's going to be much cheaper. And obviously, all these security capabilities are embedded in our standard, so in every of our licenses.
Got it. Any other security type stuff we should know, get excited about when it comes to your platform?
I mean, the great thing with our platform is that it's changing every month. So every month we try to release a new feature, a new capability. We have this collaborative approach where when we work with MSPs, we want to make sure that they get everything that they need. So we like to do some code development and work on new features. Most of our roadmaps is based on our partners and MSPs users feedback, and that's really essential for us to make sure that we don't get this rigid platform where what you see is what you get. It's really like we're pretty open and transparent on the roadmap, and we're pretty open to suggestions. So we just released RBAC capabilities. Before that, we were working on some capabilities around the network management part. And the next step for us is to work on syslog enhancements, because currently we have a cloud syslog solution where you can easily, as an MSP, set up your own server and start collecting logs from all your network devices. But obviously, we want to provide more capabilities around that, because that's definitely a tool to be used for troubleshooting. So in the next few months, we're gonna add alerts features. We're gonna add predictability. So a lot of different kind of tools that MSP will be able to use, and instead of just relying on packet capture, they will be able to use our platform and our syslog solution to perform the monitoring and troubleshooting for their customers.
So with that type of stuff, it does not sound like you're going to be, zero knowledge, for example, because if you're going to basically give us packet capture type of capabilities, then that means, in theory, you could access any of the unencrypted stuff that's happening, right?
We're primarily gonna no, I mentioned the packet capture because that's something that is being used right now to troubleshoot on Meraki, but that's not really sufficient. We really want to address the syslog part and all the logs you can get from those protocols. So it's really about how we can add more capabilities to make sure that as an MSP you can provide more services to your customers, because that's key right now, and I think we should talk about this. Is the fact that as an MSP you need to provide more services and more added value to your customers, and the market is heading towards cloud-based solutions and subscription model, and this as a service model is definitely something that more and more MSPs want to implement, but don't necessarily have the right tools or the right resources or even the right budget for that. So we want to make it accessible for them so that they can once they deploy a network and some infrastructure, they can also provide some network management as a service. And for that, they will need tool to troubleshoot. They will need tool to push changes, and that's what we embed into our platform.
All right, now we're going to talk about everybody's second favorite topic. We're going to talk about some pricing. So, so let's just talk about the MSP pricing, because that's who's listening and watching this.
Yeah.
First of all, is pricing on your website?
No, it's not, because it's actually we just released a new version of the platform, a pretty big release. So the pricing and the bundles are currently being reviewed, and we want to make sure that we have the best approach. And for that, we assume that we need to be pretty flexible. And we want to work on the best bundles and the best offers. So that's under construction. But obviously, if someone asks for pricing, we have everything ready. So it's all you need is just ask.
Okay, I gotta say, I really like your website. I love that you're using Overpass as the font on the website.
I love Overpass.
I'm a font nerd, man. So no, you've got a fantastic looking website. I'm looking at it right now, and you've got a boatload of information. Like you know, you're a company that honestly I'd never heard of until a few weeks ago when you guys reached out. And you know, I look at your site and you've got like a bazillion pages. And you know, you've got a website that like it feels comparable to one of the big guys. Like I feel like Cisco would have a website this big and ridiculous for just one of their products. And I mean ridiculous in the nicest way possible, because this is comprehensive, man. This is good.
I appreciate. And I mean, there was a lot of work on the website, because obviously we have invested a lot into our platform, but we also knew that we had to hire some experts on the marketing part, because it's really something critical if you want to spread out the word. And I would say the IT market is pretty unique in a way that you cannot approach IT guys pretty easily. They are the one who are who are gonna get to you if they are looking for specific information, or if they're looking for a specific solution. So you need to be there. You need to be well referenced, and you need to provide the right level of information. So that was the whole strategy behind this website.
All right, so yeah, you've got a lot of.
And
information.
I'm a really big fan of Overpass. It was actually one of my prerequisites before we launched the website. Was like, Overpass is our font, our official font, no matter what.
Now, that's not the font in your logo too, is it?
It is.
It's hard for, like, when I see it, like, I can tell because of the angled tops of the T's and the way that the G kind of cuts short and like that kind of stuff. So I can tell when I look at it that it's Overpass. But when I see something that's like all capital letters, it's harder for me to discern.
That's true. Yeah.
The font.
And there's like spaces between the letters, so it's kind of hard to tell. But that's actually Overpass. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I love this font, man. Good job.
Appreciate it.
But it doesn't get you off the hook. I still want to know what it costs.
Right.
I didn't forget that question.
So, yeah, and I'm really happy to answer this question. We actually have so like I said, we wanted to be flexible in a way that we know that some people would like to have the entire bundle. So meaning that they would like to be able to use the platform to create a Meraki organization, do the provisioning and implementation of the networks and the devices, then troubleshoot and just monitor the organization, and then add some additional services like captive portal. But we also know that some MSPs would also like to have this flexibility to only use the tools that they want. So we came up with on one hand bundles where you have everything embedded into the bundle, and you're gonna pay a price depending on the number of organizations you are handling. And basically we made it by a very different levels so that you can start between 1 and 20, and it's gonna cost you, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say because it's gonna be it is live, so I want to make sure that I don't say. But I think 1 and 20 is like $2.99. Then we have 1 to 50. It's $5.99 per month, and then you go up to 200.
And we're talking about $299 US, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
So roughly $300 a month to be able to have anywhere between 1 and 20-ish networks, organizations that we're
organizations. Yeah, organizations. And then
so,
if you want to use the RBAC capability, we're going to charge per users. So it's going to be something around $10 per users basically. And for the captive portal part, it's going to be charged per access points. So it's way easier especially for Meraki deployments, because for every device you have a license, Meraki license attached. So we also provide a license attached to the device. So it's we try to make it fairly simple, but also complete, so that whenever you need, you'll get what you want at a fair price, obviously.
And what do you charge for just the captive portal per endpoint or per access point?
It's around so it's a volume pricing, but we start at $10 per month, and usually for really large deployments we can go down to around $5 per AP per month.
Okay. All right. Now the moment everybody's been waiting for. Are you able to give us a demo?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
Can I?
You can. Down on the bottom, there's a share button. Are you a Mac or
Awesome.
a PC?
I'm a Mac. I'm a Mac guy.
Well, me too. So I'm not even upset about that answer. Don't worry. So with being on a Mac, it's going to ask you for like screen recording or accessibility permission, and then when you unlock that little padlock in the bottom and then check the box, it'll say you need to restart your browser or whatever. You don't need to do that. You just say later, and then it'll work. See, he already knows. He's already got it working.
It's actually working. Yeah.
This guy.
I'm a fast learner. So how long do you want me to do this? I can do that for.
We're gonna roll with it, man. I just want to see around.
Sure. So this is the platform. So I'll show you a demo environment. So the way it works, that we have our tools on the left, and here are all the organizations. So the way it works is you can use your API, Meraki API key, to connect your organization. So that's our different API keys, and you can manage your organizations right here. So whether you have existing organizations, all you need to do is click on import, or you can directly, using your API key, create Meraki organizations directly from here. So the idea is to really be as complementary as possible with Meraki, so that in some cases you don't need to go on the Meraki dashboard. You can do everything from here. Like I mentioned, we have our different kind of product, and we have two types of layers. So one type is for MSPs, and the other one is for what we call workspace. So we have some of the MSPs we're working with, and some of the end customers we're working with right here. And you can access as an MSP to these tools, and other end user, you can access the other tools, especially logs and captive portal. So I'm not gonna spend too much time demoing all the tools, but the access control is actually pretty cool. So like I mentioned, the problem with the administration part of Meraki is that you don't have a granular system. So when you create a new admin, it's either it has either full access or read only. So here you're gonna be able to set up your SAML users and build your access control list. And here you're gonna be able to select your permissions. And thanks to our web extension, we're gonna be able to select all the menus and capabilities or features that the user will have access on his Meraki dashboard. So the great thing is that every user will still have this Meraki dashboard experience, which will have a limited view thanks to the web extension. So that's really great. And here we can handle all the users directly from here. So let's say you are an MSP, you are handling 80 orgs, and you need to add someone from your team to all 80 orgs. If you use the traditional way, you're gonna have to go to the Meraki dashboard and to every single organization and do the same task 80 times. Or you can use our platform and just add a user and just select all the organizations on which you want to create the access. So I can say Steve, and I can say Steve at RocketMSP, RocketMSP.io, and then you can select all the org, and obviously you can select which type of access this person will have on the Meraki dashboard, and that's really easy to use and really simple, and it will save tremendous amount of time. Really quickly, we have question.
You mentioned the Chrome extension.
Yes.
So who has to have that installed? The user that's logging in?
Yes, the user. The user.
And what happens if they don't?
The Meraki dashboard. They won't have access to the dashboard. They will have to download the. So we have a Chrome extension. For Firefox is gonna be released soon, and we have Internet Explorer, which is Bing now, I think, and Safari.
I was going to ask if you had Safari. Yeah.
Yes. So the network management part, this is where you're going to be able to push configuration changes in batch. So one of the limitations on Meraki is the fact that if you want to have the same configurations, or if you want to manage multiple sites, you can use their templates, but they are fairly limited in a way that they are pretty rigid. And once you have you have binded a network to a template, you cannot make any changes. So with this tool, we're going to be able to push settings. So you can either extend the settings or replace the settings. So it's really ideal when you are deploying new networks, or when you are like in the production phase and you want to push changes. And the great thing is that you can use these capabilities cross organization, so you don't rely on just one single organization. You can push the changes on multiple organizations. So let's say, talking about a that we like security. Let's say you have a new security threat. You're going to be able to push the changes. Let's say you're going to add a security rule. You're going to be able to add this rule on multiple organizations at the same time. Audit compliance. We talk about this with PCI compliance and security. So we have tools where we can scan organizations and configurations. We have some audit tools dedicated for security rules, one for tags, one for names. Could sound pretty silly, but actually you have network names, you have device names, SSID names, switch ports names, VLANs names. So a lot of things that can go south in terms of compliance and standards. So here you can make sure that everything is compliant with the standard that you have defined at the beginning of your project. And the monitoring part, where you're going to be able to see all the clients and devices connected on all your organization. And if you want to manage your devices, and let's say you want to switch or move a device from an organization to another. That's what you can do here. The deployment part, where we're going to automate all of the deployment, and we have what we call templates as well here. So you can define templates like, let's say you're addressing SMB customers and you have the exact same type of project or bundles with LAN, Wi-Fi, SD-WAN, advanced security. You can come up with templates of configuration. You can, every time you have a new deployment, you can push the same templates on every of these sites. The logs part, where you have the syslog servers, where you have access to all the data directly from here. So you can click here and you can see all the data that are being collected on your organization, and you can also download those data. And I'm just gonna go to the workspace here and show you how it looks like in terms of captive portal. So the great thing with captive portal is that we have an API integration, so you can set up everything from here. Earlier today, I was actually showing this this platform to this person, and they have multiple sites. So if they want to run the deployment of captive portal solutions on their site, instead of going to the Meraki dashboard and do that manually, they can just use our platform and just select all the SSIDs on which they want to deploy the service, and then all they need to do is click here on deploy, and through the API integration, we will set up our own Redis servers, the walled garden, the splash redirection, and our syslog servers on the Meraki side, and it will be automatically implemented. And then what you have to do after is just go here, set up a nice splash page. Excuse me, I'm French, but I have embedded some nice French images. So as you can see on the background, we have the Louvre, but don't worry, you can change the background, and you're gonna be able to adapt the display depending on the type of devices. So it's a desktop here. If you have a mobile, you can see the Eiffel Tower, and you can also add different type of languages. So it's responsive to the language of the OS of the device. So you can add all the languages that you want, even Spanish for you, Steve.
Wonderful.
And then, and then like I mentioned earlier, so you have here the terms and condition and the double opt-in for the RGPD, and you can select different kind of authentication. So really easy to use when you are an IT guy, or if you want more advanced capabilities, you can have access to this here. So it's really we want to make sure that the user experience is as optimized as possible, but also the implementation is really really simple. So all you need to do then is click on publish, and the great thing is that it's really granular in terms of administration. So if you want to display a different page depending on the site, you can handle this here. And let's say you have a store in I don't know, in Dallas, store Dallas. You can select the Dallas network, and you can display a specific splash page for this when the user is getting connected on this very single site. And you have the redirection, which could be a basic one, or you can also make it different depending on the type of connection mode. So let's say you are a brand and you want to promote your social networks. If someone connects through Facebook, you can redirect the person to the Facebook page or Instagram page, and you can even redirect to the mobile store. So that's something pretty relevant when it comes to marketing, because obviously that's something you want to use to drive some traffic and collect some data. And as you can see here, the data that's going to be collected are going to be here, and you're going to be able to download the data to do some marketing automation campaign. And we are providing some analytics right here with some information regarding the statistics of connections, the number of email that you've collected, where are the most visited location, what are the type of OS and type of devices that are getting connected on your network. I think I can last 4 hours, so I'm just going to stop here, and that's it for the demo. And I'll finish by saying that we provide free trials. So if you want to test our platform and use our awesome tools, just go on our website and ask for a free trial. I will be more than happy to provide with a demo environment.
All right, this seems neat. I don't know if it seems $300 a month neat though. I mean,
Actually,
I feel like you're charging a whole lot of money just because Meraki charges a whole lot of money, and you can.
no, like I said, we came up with a pricing methodology so that instead of hiring someone like a developer to use the APIs and automate all of these tasks, you can just use our platform. And to be quite fair, if you have a deployment with I don't know 20 or 30 sites, the workload that we're gonna save you as an MSP definitely worth the price of the monthly fee, and that's a fact. And that's the ROI is pretty easy to show actually.
Okay. Well, I will let others smarter than I argue with you about your pricing. I tried, guys. I tried.
Try
all
me.
right. So I'm just genuinely curious. What picture was that on the desktop version of the splash?
It's actually the Louvre. The Louvre. So it's,
that Louvre. Yeah. No, I honestly. So all joking aside, I did not realize that's what it was because I was looking for that like glass pyramid. And I was like, well, that must not be it because I don't see the glass pyramid.
No, it's actually taken from an angle where you don't see the pyramid. And actually, I like this picture because it's really, it's the colors are nice, and it's actually a place that I really enjoy going. You can actually drive through this, so it's really nice to do that, especially at night.
That's really cool, man. One of these days I'm going to get over there. When I do, I'll give you a call, Ned, because I'm going to need somebody to show me around and make sure that I'm not offending people as I walk around asking for because what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk into every restaurant and I'm going to be like, I don't really know how to say anything, so I'll just have a croissant, and I'll say it as obnoxiously as I possibly can.
Yes, especially if you start speaking Spanish, they're definitely not gonna like it. But I'll definitely can be your tour guide, and I'll show you the right places.
And I'm sure for the right price, he will be your tour guide too. Now, I just want to clarify:
$300 a month.
Yeah, $300 a month, and he'll be your tour guide. So, exactly. Magnet Home. I just want to clarify. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but some of the things that come out of my mouth, I don't even believe. So take some of my ridiculous questions with a grain of salt, because I have a strange, dry sense of humor and like to just talk crap sometimes, okay? So giving him a hard time about his pricing, because isn't that what we MSPs do? We always want a better price. No matter what great price you tell me it's free, I want you to give me money. We always want a better price, okay? So that's all. I'm just busting his chops a little bit. So
of course,
we talk pricing.
That's important because MSP's margins are pretty low, and time is money. So that's definitely something we wanna promote. Is the fact that instead of there's two ways of seeing this. Is like we're gonna save a lot of time, so that's time you still can be able to charge it and be more profitable, or you can also charge less and be more competitive against your competitors.
And what's funny right now is somebody just complained that their arm is effing killing them because they just got their COVID shot. And then they said, sorry, pardon my French. I said, oh, don't worry about it. I'm talking to a French guy right now. So I just thought I'd share that with you. So I really like your You know why I like your platform? Because I like shiny, pretty, attractive things when it comes to software. So your software, you've got overpass font everywhere, and you've got great colors. I mean, it's pretty. I don't even use Meraki products, but I want your software. I just want to peruse through
Appreciate
it. So for those of you that are operating with clients that are using Meraki equipment, or maybe you've always thought like, man, I wish I could do all of this stuff with Meraki, but it's just so much of a pain to try and deploy 5 sites worth of devices, especially when these sites are huge. Maybe you want to deploy a bunch of APs to a small like minor league or ladies softball stadium, because I know the Cleveland Indians will never have you, but maybe you want to go for the ladies softball. I mean, those stadiums, I mean, they hold fans probably, literally dozens of them at least. So you could need a few APs to put in there, and that might be a really cool deployment to have it automate setting up all these APs, right? Or maybe you are cool enough to go work with the Cleveland Indians, and they're like, hey, we want to upgrade to Wi-Fi 6. Okay, great. All we need to do is install like 980 APs in your giant freaking stadium with multiple floors, and you can have Wi-Fi 6 throughout. And it seems like you can just do that. Am I wrong? Like, you just check a couple boxes, and it's... Can we even... I remember, when you buy a Meraki device, you have to like associate the device to an organization. I can even do that.
Of course.
Your system. Okay.
So the whole point of Meraki APIs is to actually make Meraki an enterprise solution, because it was essentially dedicated for SMBs. And the fact that now they have APIs capabilities, it's definitely a game changer to address enterprise accounts. So we are working with MSPs who are addressing SMBs, and we have tools to run those really small deployments that needs automation. And we could also address really large customers. And then for that, we're working with really large deployment with thousands of networks and multiple organizations and a lot of complexity. And automation makes even more sense for this kind of deployment, because you're not really sure that there could be so many human error in the process, and just automating the whole process make it obviously more simpler, but also safer in terms of configuration.
All right. Well, everybody, please, boundlessdigital.com. Go check it out. Reach out to Ned. If you're here in the States, you'll probably end up working with Ali. But the team there, they've been really great for me to chat with back and forth. I think that they will be a fantastic resource for you, for all you Meraki people for now. And I bet you guys don't want this to stop at Meraki. You might start doing something else cool, like maybe Ubiquity. Maybe you go completely the opposite direction. You got the really expensive, and now you'll do the real cheap over on the other end. I think that'd be a nice. I think that'd be good for you to start doing some things with Ubiquity.
The good thing is that sky is the limit. So we definitely have the ability to expand and address other vendors. So now it's just we just need to be relevant and clever about this, because we don't want to just do a million things, different things at the same time. We made a strong choice at the beginning to by focusing on Meraki, but I think it is paying off because we have something pretty unique. And the good thing is that we have a platform that is and a methodology that is easy to replicate with others. But we don't want to become like this big platform where everybody is onboarded and we can work with multiple vendors. We want to keep on having this unique approach and really expert approach, and that's what makes us unique.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ned, for being here today. And thanks so much for those of you that were watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, so that way you get notified about upcoming broadcast events and anything that I just happen to upload in the future. Also, check us out at RocketMSP.io to learn more about getting some accountability and just some help with building your business. And then finally, boundlessdigital.com. Go check these guys out. Get yourself signed up for, I'm sure you guys have a trial that people can sign up for. Perfect. Get a trial, check it out, get some Meraki gear. Everyone will be happy.
Cool. And come to France, come to Paris, come visit us.
Yeah. I mean, that's a win right there. I heard you become a big enough partner, they'll even fly you out.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'll take you out to dinner.
Yeah, I hear they have a what do they call it? I was gonna make a joke about McDonald's in France, the Royale with cheese. You know the. For those of you
actually,
know what,
McDonald's it's pretty nice in France.
Yeah,
it's actually it has a pretty good reputation in France.
It should, man. I mean, I don't know if for those of you that know what movie I'm talking about, the Royale with cheese. It's a great movie. So, all right, Ned, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and everyone. I will see you all at the next episode. Take care, guys.